Good day and welcome to another edition of Spartan TV, Spartan Spotlight. I am Mark Jansen, your host, and with me today is Tessa Meyer. Don't call her Myers. Apparently it's quite a pet peeve. And thank you very much for coming today.
No problem.
You guys are off to a great start.
Yeah.
What has been the key so far for you guys?
Well, for us, I'd say right now it's completely hard work and just we have a really talented team, so I feel like our talent is really pulling us through right now. We definitely have a lot to do tactical wise and technique wise and all of the above. So right now it's just kind of our hard work and the personnel of our team. We're all hard workers, so our talent and hard work is really what's getting us through right now. We're definitely excited to be getting better technically and tactically though for the rest of the season.
Yeah, for sure. Now, talk about yourself. You've had a bit of an injury this year.
Yeah.
What kind of has transpired since that injury, and how are you feeling getting back on the field?
I was injured August 18th in preseason. We played a scrimmage match against the University of Oregon, and it was called a high ankle sprain and bone contusion. I went for x-rays, no breaks or anything, so that was relieving in itself. But I was told 4 to 6 weeks, which, if I did the math in my head, would cut into season probably, by the time I'm recovering, probably enable me to play sometime early in October, end of September. So I literally did everything in my power to get back as quick as I can, and unfortunately that meant I missed out on going to California with my team in preseason. But honestly, going to California would have prolonged my recovery and treatment for about 1 to 2 weeks. So I came home and got treatment as soon as I could and did everything that was asked of me from a therapy standpoint to the best of my ability. And I ended up playing in our first league games, so not this past weekend, but the weekend before. And not as much time as I would have liked or would have expected, but you're getting back, you're recovering. So I was just excited to be able to dress for an actual league game.
Yeah, absolutely. So. Now, talk about your career here at Trinity Western. You started off as, a top high recruit, came in and was starting very early, and then had a bit of a tough first season.
Yeah.
And then since then, it seems like you've kind of turned it around again. Can you just discuss kind of your career on the whole?
Sure, yeah. I came in as definitely a top recruit. I didn't start the very first scrimmage game we played in preseason because it's a tradition for Trinity to never start rookies on the first game that we play. But after that, I was starting each game. And then basically it just, our captain at the time, Dana DeMerton, she was a center midfielder, and her and I were similar in our playing styles. And it was a lot more complimentary to Dana to have a different player from our team on the field playing alongside center mid with her. So what happened was and that's my position, center mid, so what happened was I got pushed to the outside, and for me, like any player would love to be on the field, and looking back on it now, I should have been more grateful to just be on the field, but for me it was kind of a blow to my confidence and kind of, okay, well that's a demotion from my natural position type thing. That's more how I looked at it. And as soon as my confidence started spiraling downward, so did my performance. So it just seemed, with each and every game, I was getting less and less playing time to the point where I wasn't starting anymore, and my confidence just even more shot downward. And I mean, that's heading toward the end of the season now, so we're coming up into nationals, and I can't even remember the first year if I started any games in nationals, but I didn't play very much in the final. But the excitement at the end of nationals kind of took over everything. After we won nationals the first year, it was one of Graham's primary goals to get my confidence back up, get me playing in my natural position. So that spring season was really good for me. My performance went way up. Graham was very one-on-one, did a lot of one-on-one coaching with me personally, and I ended up getting my confidence back. I ended up getting my love to play again back, being in my natural position, everything above. So that's that spring season, and then I went into season in my second year, and started most games. If I didn't start, played most minutes. And then we went into nationals at the end of my second year, and I played 90 minutes in every game in nationals, I feel. And then I had a great spring for my second season, and this year coming into preseason, felt great. Unfortunately, sustained that injury, so brought me down a little bit, but I'm just thankful I'm recovering right now. So
yeah. So where do you see your role now on the team? You're maturing as a player, a bit more of a leader this year?
Yeah, for sure. We definitely have quite a few players that I feel are leaders in more ways than one, and a lot that are kind of specific leaders. So, I mean, we have some leaders on our team that are strictly spiritual leaders, and they're awesome. Leaders that, you know, don't really have to use a voice but play so well that you just idolize them type leaders. And I feel like I try and motivate the team more with my voice, but more than anything, that's my fellow center midfielder, Nat Boyd. She does a lot of that with her voice, and I feel like I can mostly lead with the way I play and the way I will literally do anything to make my team better, make myself better on the field. So I feel like that's one of the more specific roles that I can lead people.
All right, now we're going to the section of the interview that's fairly useless, important information. So the first one is, do you have any superstitions or any kind of crazy things you do before games?
Before games? Not that I can think of off the top of my head, and the reason I'd say for that is because when I was younger, I did everything, and everything I did, I thought about, maybe I won't play soccer as good if I do this. And that was like my main thought when I was younger. So I honestly tried to make it a habit as I was maturing from youth soccer into kind of getting more into important, meaningful type of soccer, that like I just wouldn't think. I'd just go the total opposite direction and nothing would have an effect on me. So I've almost gotten to that habit where I've just gone so far the opposite way from superstitions that I could put on my left cleat before my right, and the following day put on my right cleat before my left, and it really wouldn't make a difference now.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, second question is, if I asked your teammate, Tessa Meyer, what would they first think about? What would they say Tessa Meyer is?
Garbage can. And they'd say that because, and like I just don't pick these words out. I can tell you that they will call me that because it's not like I eat all the time, but every time someone from my team sees me, I happen to be eating. And it could be anything and everything. So it's just garbage can, like, goes in, and it could be anything. So
there you go. Now, you talked about Grahamroxburg, your coach, being a really helpful coach, excellent coach, and, you know, lifting you up when you might be down or frustrated.
Yeah.
What's one thing that he would not want to hear that you do before games?
What do you not want to hear before I do? Or what I do before games? I would say Graham would not be happy to hear that I probably drink at least half a liter of pop before on game days.
That's
before
practices. That's a sizable amount.
Oh, for sure.
And what do you drink?
I like mostly Sprite. I don't know why. Mostly Sprite, but Sprite or like Coke. At least sometimes, like, you know, it's Coke Zero, but yeah.
Well, it's almost practice time. You probably got to get to your pop, get to your half liter. You got to guzzle that before practice.
Exactly.
This has been Tessa Meyer on Spartan Spotlight.